time to do the driver ratings for Austria. We didn't do them in the Styrian because the race was pretty pish, and also
I didn't want to bust you. I didn't want to dish you a bunch of 3s and 4s. So yeah.
Aye, so we'll dish you a bunch of. There'll be a few
Well, it could be a
ones.
couple of drivers that deserve maybe a 3 or 4 today. But we're going to go from. Well, we normally mix this up. We normally go from the classification, or we go in order of teams.
We'll just go for the bottom and our way to the top.
Classification.
Aye. And I'm looking at it right here. You're looking at it right here. So let's dive in. Esteban Ocon qualified 17th, retired on lap 1. For me, it's a 2.
Yeah,
I feel like if Latifi had qualified him, I would have given him a 1, but he didn't. So.
I mean, I think since Ocon signed his new contract, he's been pretty garbage. His teammate Alonso actually looked really good in qualifying. I think he would have got into Q3 easily had not been held up. Plus, he looked pretty good in the race. We didn't really get to see what Ocon could do in the race because he never really had that opportunity. But I mean, qualifying was poor, 17th on the grid. I can't really defend that. I'll give him I think a 2 is probably fair. I mean, or maybe a 3. I'll give him a 3.
Alright. Next up with Nikita Mazepin, I'm going to give this guy a 4. Didn't do any mistakes, but he's off Schumacher again, so therefore, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the Haas drivers, isn't it? I mean,
I think.
Well, I think he's making less mistakes.
If you're in a
So
car that is that far off, the gap to your teammate is going to look massive.
yeah.
Because there's no one to help you.
But what I would say is, I mean, I think Mazepin's making every race. He seems to be making less mistakes as the season gets on. So I think he is improving.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Next up though, Schumacher. I'll go with a 5 straight. I mean, there's not.
Yeah, better than Mazepin, but really, I mean, did he do anything phenomenal? No, he out-qualified Mazepin and he out-raced Mazepin and he finished ahead of a retired Ocon.
That's about it.
I can't really give much more than that.
Next up we have Sebastian Vettel. Him and Kimi had a crash. He blocked Alonso. He was pretty pish in the race. For me, it is.
I'm going to give him a 5.
Aye.
I think qualifying was alright. Race was poor. Never really made any sort of impact.
And the block's more the team's fault than his.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really. Not his worst race by any means, but just middle of the pack shit, really.
But I tell you what, Vettel,
he's getting better. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's
the first like 4 or 5 races this season, he was.
But it wouldn't surprise me like if this is his best patch. And
yeah.
So
I still think Lance Stroll will finish with more points on him, even though Vettel got a big haul in Baku.
Yep.
I still think Stroll looks the more promising driver.
Next up we have Nicholas Latifi, and this guy was nowhere near Russell in a car. I mean, is Russell that good? Is the Williams no bad this weekend, or is Latifi shite? I'd say it's a mixture of all 3, and I'll give this guy a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I can't give him much more than that. I mean, I'm not expecting them to battle the midfield teams, but when Russell was like on the verge of getting a point, and when Russell's getting into Q3, then that is when I really got to look at the performance of Latifi. I think a 4's been generous. I mean, he didn't really do anything wrong, but his teammates Russell's making him look bad. So yeah. I think you couldn't give the guy any more than a 4.
No. Next up with Kimi, qualified 16th. I mean, that crash with Vettel, he literally just drove into him. I don't know what.
Kind of crazy that towards Kimi Räikkönen was second with about 5 laps to go in the driver of the day poll, and I don't really know why. Another poor qualifying where he gets out qualified by Giovinazzi and knocked out in Q1. I mean, it seems like Kimi Räikkönen's getting just knocked every race now. He seems to get knocked out in Q1.
I'll give him a 4.
I'm giving him a 3.
Right, fair enough. I feel like his race is pretty good though till he took out Vettel, so I can't.
It's just more into strategy, wasn't it? I mean, fucking.
Alright, next up we got Antonio Giovinazzi. He out-qualified Kimi and beat him in the race, so I'll give him a 6.
I mean, yeah, damage early on. Couldn't really cover from that. Race was pretty much over. I'll give him a 5.
Stroll up next. Qualified 9th. Well, 10th, but Vettel's penalty put him up to 9th. Finished 13th.
I mean, decent qualifying, but in the race, Aston Martin just went backwards.
I'll give him a 5.
I'll give him a 5. I mean, did I give Vettel a 5?
Aye.
I'll give him a Stroll a 5.
Next up with Tsunoda, basically the exact same problem, but he's not as good as Gasly.
Good
so.
qualifying.
No, the 2 mistakes in the race. 1 is acceptable. 2 is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's exactly what that is.
But I feel like without those 2 time penalties, he probably gets the last points paying position.
But see, I don't know. He only made 2 pit stops, right? Which means he could only have served one of them.
And he gets the other one. I don't know after the race. So.
Aye, so, but where would he have been? You know, he finished behind Russell, and Alonso finished quite a bit ahead of him. And he was behind Kimi and Raikkonen.
I just don't think this guy's good enough for AlphaTauri. I'd have got Kvyat back in, or kept Albon there.
It was better than what it has been. He qualified 7th, so I'll give him a 5. Like, but again, I feel like the AlphaTauri's actually good.
I'll give him. I think if you're doing it in qualifying, you'd probably for getting 7th, you'd probably give him like a 7 or an 8. But the race was bad, so I mean, yes. That drags it down to like a 5. So I mean, I think I'll give him a 5.
Next up on 11th was George Russell, qualified 8th. Alonso said it was sad when he realised this guy was 10th and he had to take it off him, but it had to be done.
I'm giving Russell a 9.
Yes, I'll give him a 9.
So
if he got the point, I'd give him a 10. But
yeah, I mean, he gets into Q3, out qualifies Stroll genuinely on pace, and led in the race. Most of the race, he was in a points paying position or a net points paying position once everyone else had pitted. Just unfortunate for him at the end. He had one of the best drivers of all time coming at him, so I mean, you know, it's what it is. A great race though. 9 out of 10, you know, fantastic. I think Russell will get a point this season. Yep. If the unless the Williams falls away, I mean, the guy's driving too good not to get points sooner. And again, I mean, this is what a race where there's only one retirement, you know. And it's arguably a guy that would have been in front of him anyway.
Leclerc, Hamilton, or Perez very easily could have retired this race due to all their issues, but they didn't. But
the retirement that there was, I mean, who's to say he wouldn't have beat Ocon on merit anyway? Exactly. I think he would have. So based on what Ocon's qualifying position and his poor form recently, so I mean, just unfortunate for Russell. Had one of the guys. I mean, Hamilton's issue could have very well led to him. You know what I mean? In the same way. Yeah, just one of those things. One of those things.
Next up, though, we've got Fernando. I'll give him a 7. I feel like
I'll give him a 7.
Vettel fucking shafted him, and I feel like if that didn't happen, he probably would have qualified about 5th, 6th, and that changes your race.
Yeah, I mean, a 7 because I felt he was good, but again, I mean, it's only 1 point.
I feel like he would have been in that Sainz, Perez, Ricardo, Leclerc battle.
Yep. I'll give him a 7.
The damage was done, and next up with Gasly. Again.
No, actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm giving him a 6. The reason I'm giving him, I mean, it's alright saying he felt like he could have got 5th or 6th, but we don't know that. All we know is he didn't get it because Vettel took him out or blocked him.
No, but in Q1 he was 4th.
No, I know, I get that, and he looked pretty good in practice, but oh, we know what? I'll stick to the 7. I'll stick to the 7.
I can't give Alonso a 6 if I'm giving Vettel and Stroll a 5.
I'll stick to the 7.
Right, next up, Gasly. I'll give this guy.
I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Really good. Good qualifying. The strategy kind of screwed him over. If he'd have went with a 1-stopper, where would he have came? I think he would have been higher than 9th. Yep. But I guess we don't know that. But I mean, again, AlphaTauri seems to have better qualifying pace than race pace. Yep. And I mean, I think Pierre Gasly deserves another shot at Red Bull. Don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but no. Or perhaps even, you know, perhaps even will he go to Alpine maybe because they like a French driver. Who knows?
Who knows? Next up with Charles Leclerc, qualified 12th, which was shit. But Ferrari said that's what they were kind of going for, but I think he should have started the hards. He didn't. He got shafted twice by Perez, and that compromised him. I mean, that would have changed it. He finished 8th.
I'm giving him a 6.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6 because I feel like the Ferrari should have been
doing better than that. I mean, if it were doing 0.5, I'd probably give him a 6.5. I mean,
if Perez doesn't do that to him, you never know. He might
probably finishes 5th. Yeah. Maybe if he beats Hamilton. If he gets past Leclerc,
you never know.
If he gets past straight away, he might get 4th. We don't know. Although what I would say is he struggled to get past Ricardo.
He did.
So would him getting past Perez made it any easier for him to get?
His tyres probably got wrecked.
Aye.
By going off
yeah, true. So. But again, if you can't really go ifs and buts, you know what I mean? You have to do him what he delivered, really.
Next up, Daniel Ricciardo finished 7th, qualified 13th. His teammate qualified 2nd, so I'm going to give.
I think everyone's making out as if he had a great fucking race. I didn't see it that way.
I'll give him a 5. Even that, I think think's fucking high.
I'm giving them a 5 because the qualifying. I mean, it looks like a good race. Or qualified 13th, but he managed to make up 6 places and got 6 points. But I mean that McLaren and
Your teammate can't be beating Mercedes, and you can't beat Russell.
I mean that McLaren looked really good. Norris has hands this weekend, so yeah, I'm not convinced about Dan Ricciardo. And did he really do anything good in the race? He kind of just stopped people from overtaking him.
Yeah.
I mean I don't think he had the pace of the guys around him. Like, to be fair, yeah, I'll give him a 5.
Next up with Sergio Perez coming in at 6th place, got about 28 penalties. I'll give Perez a 5.
I'm gonna give him a 6. I think this could have easily
been a 1-2,
and I think he could have been giving him an 8 here, but I can't give him an 8 because he fucks up. Even though Norris doesn't leave him the space, I believe that if you're going to round to the outside, you kind of have to. I think if you're going around the outside, I think that's something you do late on when you're trying to make up a position.
Norris doesn't force him off. I've watched it many times. It's kind of the line he's already taken into the corner.
Yeah, but do you not think that's
so Leclerc legit does force him off?
Yeah, but do you not think when he does that to Leclerc, it's like it's later on in the race, and even for Leclerc, even if Leclerc goes off and loses a few seconds, it's no big deal. But Perez must be thinking how early that is in the race. If he goes off, you're not losing a few seconds. You're going to lose about 10 places. I mean, that's what happened. Then he got 2 penalties. His pace was good though. Third in qualifying, unlucky not to get second. Just Norris put in a great lap. At least they went for it, but I just don't think there was any rush. I think Perez could have. Realistically, he was not going to win the race anyway. Max is going to win it. Yes. I don't think there was any need for Perez to try and get past Norris that early. I think if he just abided his time, he'd have got Norris sooner or later. I think it would have been an easy 1-2 for Red Bull. But
right.
You make that mistake and you get knocked into 10th, 11th, and your race is ruined. I think he did pretty well to get back into 6th. Would have got 5th if Carlos Sainz had not passed Danny Rick on the last lap. I thought it was very harsh giving him the second penalty. Don't think he deserved that. First penalty, I mean, fair. I think you have to give him the first penalty because you gave Norris a penalty.
Yeah.
So I think you have to give Perez the penalty.
This was worse, so.
Because there was actually contact between Perez and Leclerc, where there was no contact between Perez and Norris. But
yep.
I mean, yeah, I'm giving them what did I give him?
6.
I'm giving them a 6.
Right, next up though, we have Carlos Sainz, started 10th, finished 5th. He did have the preferred strategy in my opinion. He had the second fastest lap. I will give Carlos an 8. I'll
give Carlos an 8. Out-qualified Leclerc, which is no easy feat. And came through the grid strong. And towards the end, he was trading fastest laps with Max Verstappen. So, yeah, I mean.
By 1.5 seconds.
Oh well, I just realised that, yeah. But I mean, Sainz was easily the second fastest guy in terms of fastest laps. So, yeah, I mean, I give him an 8. Yeah, I mean, good race for Sainz.
Yeah, I definitely think Ferrari, if they didn't qualify so pish.
Yeah, but that was their fault.
They both would have beat Hamilton.
They tried to get into Q3 on mediums.
Yep.
And
I guess. But look, if they did it on softs, they would have been
had to do the Gasly strategy.
Exactly.
So
yeah, so they are.
Yeah, but they got more pace, so maybe the Gasly strategy would work for them.
I know, but who knows? Right, next up though, would it have worked though? Because Sainz got 5th, and that's probably the best they could have asked for. Right, next up though, Lewis Hamilton qualified 4th, out qualified by Norris, damaged his own car, and he had team orders done against him. I'm
giving Hamilton a 5.
Yeah, I thought it was shocking.
I'm giving him a 5 because his qualifying was poor. I mean, 4th in the grid.
He beat Bottas, but
I mean, he can turn around and say, "Oh, the Red Bulls are untouchable," but what's his excuse? Oh, one McLaren's unbeatable, but the other one's beatable. I mean, come on. At the end of the day, you mean you did crap. You qualified 4th, got passed by Bottas early on. When you did get past Norris, it kind of looked like Norris had let you through. To be fair, Norris didn't really put up much of a fight, and you were kind of sneaking your way into an easy second.
And damaged your own car. Says, I didn't run wide, and then it was
even though we clear, yeah, I mean, so poor race for Hamilton, and then he didn't even fight the team orders. I think he should have. I've lost a bit of respect for him. I think he should have been like, no, fucking tell Bottas to hold up Norris for me. Plus, it cost me £675, and for that reason, I can't get him any more than a 5.
It was fucking shocking for Hamilton.
Needed him to get a podium for a shitload of money, and he jobbed out. So,
anyway, 5's in. Next up, Norris. I'll give this guy a 10, brother. I felt like the guy couldn't have done much more. He should have. Well, I was going to say he should have finished second, but he should have beat Bottas. But we don't know what would have happened with Hamilton, you know. So.
Well, he got that 5-second penalty, I think it's harsh, and he never got that. He would have beat Bottas, but I don't think he'd have beat Hamilton.
Yeah.
So I mean, third's probably fair, but it kind of annoys me that Bottas has got second when he doesn't fucking deserve it.
Get to in a minute, but yeah, I'm
you know,
10. What you going? I feel like he couldn't have done anything more.
Yeah, I mean, he qualified second.
He literally had the same.
He had pole going into the last turn.
He literally could have had pole. Should have.
Well, he was ahead of Verstappen going into the last corner.
Could have, should have, didn't. But he was the only guy challenging, which is shocking. And then in the race, he had very similar pace to two cars that he's inferior to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever gave it a 10. I don't know if he warrants a 10.
I mean, this isn't a Vettel in Baku where he just stayed out, you know. Did good drive, but it's nothing.
No, it's the guy that had genuine pace for the whole race.
Yep.
I'm going to give him a 9.
Alright, 9.
Wait, am I? No, I'm giving him a 10. Fuck it. And second just gets beat by Verstappen by like 2 meters, and then, you know, for the podium in the race has to be a 10.
Right, next up, Valtteri Bottas. We gave Hamilton a 5. I'm giving this guy, I'll give him a 6, even though I think that's fucking high, but he kept his nose clean. Locked into it. Prez doesn't go off. No problems for Hamilton.
Controversial.
For Norris.
I'm giving Bottas a 5, the same as Hamilton.
Aye, fair enough.
Well, here, hold on. Hamilton had qualified Bottas, and as soon as Bottas got past him, Hamilton just overtook him as if he was nothing. What did Bottas do? He didn't overtake. I mean, Perez comes off, he gets past him. Norris, he overtakes in the pits because of the 5-second penalty, and he couldn't even overtake Hamilton. The team allow him through. So I mean, and he qualified 5th in a Mercedes.
Aye, 5.
I'm giving him a 5.
Right, next up, Max Verstappen, the last guy. I'll give Max
untouchable, but I mean, he didn't really have much.
I'll give him an 8.
But then again, we're not shafting him because it was an easy win, but he makes it look easy.
True, but I wouldn't say it's a 10.
I'm not saying it's a 10, like, but
I wouldn't say it's a 9 either.
The fact he was so close to Norris, I think, is a bit. I'm going to give him an 8, an 8.5. 8.
We don't do 8.5s, Dick.
I'll give him an 8. I think an 8's fair. Again, another win for Max Verstappen. It's looking good. Fastest lap by a country mile. He got the extra point for that as well. It's looking good for him in terms of the title race. And that is it, guys. That's our ranking. So we're giving driver of the day.
Lando Norris.
Because, I mean, why not? With George Russell a very close second. If George Russell gets the point, who do you give drive? I mean, if George Russell gets that point, I'd probably give him a 10, like you said. So who?
I probably would have still gave it to Norris because he actually kept pace with Mercedes. But I feel like Russell was more like
hanging on.
Had to do a 2-stopper, you know, and he kind of really benefited from that. Well, Norris didn't really benefit. From
well, let's look at the cars that Norris beat. Let's look at the cars that Russell beat that did a 1-stopper. Kimi Raikkonen.
Latifi.
And Mick Schumacher.
Technically Vettel. No, not Vettel. Who else? That's it. Yeah.
Seeing look at that, it kind of does take away fucking his race a wee bit, doesn't it? But I mean, I still give him a 9. Fuck me, Tanner Williams. Come on. Anyway, there you go. Norris, perfect 10.
That shouldn't matter, wee man.
Better than Ty Dillinger, that's for sure. And he's making Ricciardo look like dog shite. So, be interesting to see what happens going forward. But that's it, guys.
Silverstone sprint qualifying. No, I'm sure that'll be fucking brilliant.
How's that working?
Qualifying.
Oh, qualifying race.
Qualifying. It's qualifying.
Then a sprint race
that then determines the grid. It's like a 12,
but hold on.
Like a
but do you not think that's something that could fucking decide the title? And it's a free race trial, isn't it? Mm. But do you not think that there's free races like?
Why didn't they do one of these tracks? You're doing a double header.
I don't think it's right changing the rules halfway through a season. I don't agree with that.
Well, they didn't start. They announced it at the start.
Well, I don't agree with it. Just doing it for free races. It's like seeing the 2005 season when they had.
I'd rather it for free races than do it for every race, and it's shite.
No, but remember the aggregate thing they had.
In 2016.
No, 2005.
Oh, 2016 it is. Oh, as well.
Nah, there's something different. 2016. It was like It was like every 2 minutes someone got eliminated.
In 2016.
Aye. But that's different from this. But anyway, my point is, I don't like that. I think whatever the rules are at the start of the season, because at the moment Hamilton can't touch Max?
Yep.
But what's to say Hamilton can't qualify
I
set?
get that, but I mean, it's not like they knew that.
No, I just don't agree with it.
Oh, that's alright then.
Seeing this sprint race, do you think people are going to go for it more, or do you think people are going to be cagey?
Fucking go for it. I don't know, it's a weird one.
Alright, well, hold on. See where the has is. What have you got to lose in turn 1 in this qualifying?
Nothing, but I mean, it's a 15 lap race, not a fucking 1 lap race.
You tell me people ain't going to go for it?
Be interested if it was wet, like.
Alright, what's the point of having that in Monaco? Is there any point, really?
No, there's not. That's what I'm saying, you can't have it every track. Be interesting though. I wanted to do reverse grids, but Mercedes were like, oh no, bro, it's just
Yeah, do you think Hamilton would take that now?
probably.
Nah, even then, probably.
Started fucking 17.
Right, anyway, that's it, guys. Till next time.
No surrender.
P.S. and I.